Hi, my name is David, I'm in Tainan, and this is Taiwan in English. It's the 5th and final day of our first holiday pie week. So I'm back with my friends at Jasubi, and today we will be making a closed top apple pie. Okay, it's time to make the filling for the apple pie. Now, apple pies, you need to have a lot of apples. Generally, for this size of a pie, you need 6, maybe 5 or 6 good size apples. I found 4 nice size apples and then 3 smaller ones. So we're gonna make a little bit too much and then we'll make sure that there's enough for the pie. So we're gonna start off by peeling these apples and then we'll cut them up and then we'll start cooking. I usually go on the bottom and the top and then just go down and make nice little strips. If you have a rabbit, feed the rabbit the apple peels. They like them a lot. Just not too much, or they get fat. Now watching me peel a whole bunch of apples is gonna get very boring. So I will see you in just a minute when I finish peeling the rest of the apples. Now it's time to cut up the apples. So let me get the knife. All right, generally when I'm cutting up apples, I like to take the part that has the stem and put that down. It makes it a little bit more even, a little bit more stable. I just like to cut down the side. Turn it, and turn it one more time. Now, there is a core. It's a little bit square. You're losing a little bit of apple, but it's a lot less work. Once I have it like this, generally for an apple pie, you want to try to keep something of the apple shape. And I think it's best just to cut it in line, just like that. And once you've got it cut into nice slices, I just put it straight into the pan. And again, watching me cut a bunch of apples might not be the most fun thing in the world, so I'll see you when I'm finished cutting them up. Okay, now that we've got all of that in our pan, we're gonna go ahead and turn the heat on. Here we have butter. The amounts are gonna be in the description below. We're gonna wanna put this towards the bottom so that it will start to melt a little bit faster. You can break it into chunks or just smash it in there. We're gonna turn this up to kind of a medium heat, and we're gonna try to get this butter to start melting. While we're waiting, we can add in the brown sugar. Now this is about 90 grams of brown sugar, and the reason I point this out is because it's the same volume as white sugar, but brown sugar weighs a little bit less than white sugar. And this is again the same white sugar that we used when we did the blind baking for the chocolate pie and the pumpkin pie crusts. Now, nutmeg and cinnamon. These are 100% how much you like them or don't like them. If you like them a lot, add more. If you like them a little or not at all, don't add them. It's completely up to you. A little bit goes a pretty long way. This is also the same cinnamon stick that I've been using, so you don't need a lot, you just need as much as you like. And you may want to add a little bit of vanilla. If you do, great. If you don't, also great. And this is going to start to lose water from the apples. The butter will melt and everything will start to get ooey and gooey and delicious. But that's gonna take a few minutes, so I will see you then. Now, the apples have been cooking for a little while, and you can see that before the pile was very high, they have lost a lot of their water, and they have shrunken down quite a bit. There's a lot of liquid in the bottom of the pan. We have to keep cooking them until that liquid is almost completely gone. This liquid has to turn into almost like a jelly. There's a chemical inside apples called pectin. That's the chemical that makes jelly. Anyway, we're gonna keep going and I will see you soon. Okay, the apples have been cooking for a while and most of the liquid is gone. If you take a look in here, you'll see that the liquid that's remaining is now very, very thick. So what that means is that this has turned into kind of a liquid caramel. When we put this into the pie, after a time, it's going to become very solid, but a little bit like a jelly. So I'm gonna put this to the side, let it cool off, and we're gonna roll out the pie crust and get ready to put this into the pie and put the pie into the oven. I'll see you in just a moment. It's finally time to try to do the pie crusts. I say try because I made a terrible mistake. I put this ball of pie crust dough in the refrigerator for too long and it became something of a rock. So we're gonna try to work it out. I'm gonna cut it in half, just like we did with the blind baking pie crust. And then we're gonna try to work it with the hands a little bit to soften it up. And then we'll try to roll it out. Again, a little bit of flour on the countertop, a little bit on your hands will help to keep it from making too much of a mess. Moving over to the smaller one. Now I've had a little bit of bad luck with the way that I was rolling this out because it was so hard. So this is a little bit too long, so I'm gonna rip off a piece from up here. And I'm just gonna stick it over here. And you see that's gonna fix the mismatch of the pie crust. Put it over the top. And then push it down inside. Now with this pie crust, I'm not gonna try cutting off the top pieces. That's because we're gonna put a cover over the top of it. We want that cover to be able to seal. So we're gonna leave it a little bit of extra room over the top. Before we move on to the top part, we're gonna go ahead and put the apple pie filling into the apple pie. Now there's a lot of the syrup, and you don't really want that much of the syrup. So we're gonna try to pull out the apples first and leave most of the syrup in the pan. You're not gonna get perfect, no syrup in there, but now I would hold on to this syrup, put it in a little bowl off to the side, and then later, when the apple pie is finished, you can use this syrup to drizzle over the top of the apple pie to increase the apple flavor. We put this over to the side for now. We grab the second piece of dough, and like the first, we now have to flatten it out. So let's give that a try. Oh. So when we look at it, we just need to make sure that it covers the whole top of the pie. And this one already does. So we can put it on the top. We want to make a decision about this going inside or outside of the bottom one, the bottom crust. I generally like to put it on the inside. So you just sort of fold it and let the crust from the bottom go on the outside of the crust on the top. Then just squeeze the two crusts together, going around. So we get all that nice and done. And then on the top, you're gonna need to put some holes so that the steam while it's baking will be able to come out. So generally you can just use some slashes. And then I'll hit the oven to preheat it again. I'll see you in a minute when we put this in the oven. And you can see that the crust turned a nice golden brown. There's a little bit of leakage on the side. That's okay, no problem. I'm gonna put this over to the side so it can cool. And then we will cut it up and we'll have some apple pie. And finally, the apple pie is done. Beautiful. Let's cut into it and see how we did. Apple pie. Now, unfortunately, the apple pie is not as cool as I would have liked it before I cut it, but it still came out pretty nice. And that's it for today. Before you go, if you liked the video or you learned something, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss anything. And as always, if you have any questions or just want to say hi, leave a comment, or you can find me on social media, links below. And I will see you in the next exciting episode of Taiwan in English. Bye.